Hello everybody and welcome to another Taco Tuesday. On account of my very nearly exhausting all of my pastor options in this area, like I have to drive the entire way in Dallas to find more pastor tacos to eat, I've decided that I don't want to make a hard and fast rule about this, but I'm also going to try to find the area's most delightful breakfast tacos. Because everybody loves breakfast tacos. There's what's not to like. It's breakfast, and it's a taco, and those are two things that everybody enjoys. I mean, at least a little bit. At any rate, so I'm here at the Taco Cabana. At the Taco Cabana. I would not have chosen to come here if it weren't for the number of people who were like, Taco Cabana's breakfast tacos are legit. Now, Taco Cabana is here in Louisville, right next to one of my favorite places, which is Pollo Reggio. But at any rate, I've got 3 breakfast tacos. I got 1 chorizo, 1 bacon, 1 steak, and then I must have looked like I really needed salsa. But they're all the same kind. I don't know what it is yet. I haven't tried it, but I am going to eat these and I will report back. See you in a minute. Well, that, I would say I don't know what all the fuss is about, but I don't think there's much fuss. I think that like a couple people just said, hey, you should go eat tacos at Taco Cabana, and I did it. But, so they're all on flour, which I think is what sort of par for the course when it comes to breakfast tacos. The bacon had like 1 tiny shriveled piece of bacon on the taco. It was fine. There's not anything particularly like taco-y other than like the delivery source here. Like it doesn't taste, there's no like Mexican flavors going on. And all of them were sort of watery, you know, which makes me feel like, yeah, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised, but like I think it's probably not real eggs. You know, it's like the eggs you pour out of a carton or it comes in a bag. The steak one was fine. It was like a large amount of steak. It was almost too much steak. Maybe I'm just feeling really picky today. And the chorizo one I had really high hopes for. By the way, I know where we're gonna land in this breakfast taco adventure. And that is with Dennis Jenkins breakfast tacos. Because those things are fantastic. And I suppose I'm gonna have to eat breakfast tacos until December because I'm pretty sure that's when his company makes them. But they are awesome. Maybe I'll make Dennis make them for me at home. We'll have like a special Dennis's house version of Taco Tuesday. At any rate, the chorizo, high hopes. It was flavorless. It was like it's like the whitest, like what? It's like they tracked down LL Bean and asked him for his chorizo recipe, and they were like, "That's what we're gonna use in our Taco Cabana chorizo breakfast tacos." We'll try again. It'll get better, friends. It gets better from here. I'm not going to make this mistake again. At any rate, I wanted to talk to you about a few things about this week's worship service because we've got some changes. So, as all of you know, if you are watching the news or keeping up to date with Denton County Public Health, our cases in Denton County are going crazy. And as a result of that, our hospitalizations in Denton County are going crazy. And as a result of that, we've had a couple more deaths. Not that many. I don't track that one as closely. But hospitalizations are way up. And what that means is that as of yesterday, when we took the temperature for what we're going to be doing for this week, we were over the 10% threshold. I expected that would happen given the numbers of the preceding days, but yeah, it was way over. So that means for worship this week that we are lowering the threshold from 100 reservations down to 75 reservations made. You should still feel welcome to come. We've been hovering around that number anyway. And we can still space out okay in that room. And those of you who don't want to space out, of course, nobody's policing that in there. You can sit next to your friends. It's not a big deal. But we want to make space so that those who don't want to sit right next to somebody can do so safely and have room to do that. The second thing that is the big change in the room is going to be that masks are no longer requested but required. So everybody will be masked up. We will have some extra masks outside in the narthex. You will be asked to put one on if you've forgotten yours or just didn't know about this. This will also go out in the midweek minute. We're going to try to get this information as widely distributed as possible. But yeah, masks will be mandated in the worship service. And that stinks. I don't like to wear masks. I don't like that we have to have restrictions. I don't like any of it. It's just what is required at this moment because this situation keeps changing. And so we're asking for your grace and understanding as we try to navigate this as well as we can. I mean, a number of people in our congregation and in all of our circles, I'm sure you know somebody that's had a breakthrough case of COVID, even as they're vaccinated. So we're trying to be as safe as we can because we're, a community of people that are in a bunch of different social circles. So when we come together inside, we want to make sure that we are as safe as we can be. But this changing sort of situation and the ways that we're sort of always having to circle back around about these sorts of things and keep our finger on the pulse. It reminded me of in John, the disciples. He's just fed the 5,000 and he goes across the sea into Capernaum, and they're like, "Hey Jesus, when do you get here?" And he's like, "You're just looking at me because I filled your bellies." And they're like, "Well, what sign are you going to give us that you are who you say you are?" And he says, "Well, when you all were walking around in the wilderness, God fed you with manna, which was bread from heaven, right? Came down from the sky to feed you every day." And if you don't remember the story about manna, it was like dew that would show up in the mornings on the grass. And the deal was that would happen every morning. And every morning the Israelites would have to go out and gather it together. But they weren't allowed to gather more than one day's worth of manna because God was going to do it again the next day. And so it was an act of trust that they would only gather that much, as much as they needed for a single day. The only day that they were allowed to gather more was the day before the Sabbath, so that they wouldn't have to gather any on the Sabbath. Otherwise, it would get rotten and worms would get in it. Right? That was the deal. And so Jesus goes on to say, he says, well, God did that for you, and that was bread from heaven, but I am the true bread from heaven. And it strikes me that, all of our devotional practices, all of the ways that we connect with God are so similar to the ways that we connect with one another, right? I mean, it's not just like, all right, well, we talked this one time and now, now we're good for a year. You can have a relationship like that. I have some relationships that are really strong, and I talk to those folks like once every month or every other month. We text in between, things like that. But these are also old friendships that have a lot going for them. But Jesus says, I'm the true bread from heaven, which makes me feel like Jesus is saying, hey, he makes this comparison to manna. And it feels like he's saying, hey, come to me day after day and see what changes. See what new thing I have to tell you, what new encouragement I have to speak into your life, what new love you can experience from me, what new grace, what new mercy. And so I would love to encourage all of you to to daily be checking in, not only with your God, but with yourself, right? To be a person of prayerfulness. And also, like, as the world changes around us, like, that is just what it is. The only thing that we can count on, right, is change and the love of God. That's it. That's it. Through all the changes, which are inevitable, the love of God remains the same. So, my friends, I hope to see you this week. If I do not see you in worship in person, I hope to see you online during our live stream. Grace and peace to you, and eat you some bread of heaven today. Spend some time with Jesus, getting to know him a little bit better. Grace and peace. We'll see you next time.